The latest season of living alone in the wild begins. The big guy survives in the Arctic Circle at -20 degrees in the snow. Ice fishing is a soft catch. If we're lucky, we catch 2 ducks. The contestants successfully ate delicious roast duck. I'm tired of grilled fish every day. Would you like to participate in such a wilderness survival? Time came to day 36. Urick woke up in the morning to find his surroundings covered with snow. The water has begun to freeze. It was something that worried him very much. When the water freezes, he can't go out on a raft and cast nets. He's here with a stick to break up the ice. The raft is also getting a lot of ice. Before the lake freezes over, he was going to cast his net for the last time. Urick is the most active at the moment. He pulled up yesterday's fishing net. There are some gains. When Klaus got up, he decided to explore the opposite hill, because that's the only way to waste more time. Exploring the outdoors keeps him fresh. Not crying 3 times a day in the shelter, bear hunger, but crying under the covers can lead to a meltdown. He walked around the hill. What a waste of time. That's the worst wild solo player I've ever seen. And came to the shore and knocked on the ice. She had to clear a spot to get water. Boiled a pot of hot water to thaw the fish head awful. It's mainly used to keep birds. This girl's been lying in the back wondering what she's doing. Every day in addition to collecting wood. What kind of work have you done? Chronic hunger caused her to lose strength. Cutting down a piece of wood is tiring. Time came to day 37. Urick saw a deer this morning. The deer was lying on its stomach near the shelter. Isn't he a hunter? How do you see deer not hunting? I brought a bow and arrow instead of hunting its instant noodles. The shore is beginning to freeze. He tested the thickness with his foot. I didn't realize I got my feet wet. I really don't think much of this guy. Although he now has the most fish, there is no shortage of food and drink. Urick says he wants to hunt. The deer we just saw didn't say anything about hunting, except he can shoot a bow and arrow through the air. You really don't know how to knit. I saw prairie chickens not hunting earlier. Saw a squirrel and didn't hunt. I saw a deer not hunting today. You're not going to embarrass a hunter here with a bow and arrow. Klaus woke up this morning feeling sick. His toes are frostbitten. Walking is a problem. He called the doctor to examine him. Klaus was very worried that the doctor would send him off. Food and fun. Call the doctor every once in a while. After receiving the news, a crowd of people came over. They checked the soles of Klaus' feet. Preliminary results suggest tendon inflammation. The doctor and the show crew explain the situation. There's a crowd for every foot. The final proposal is, give him a bag of ibuprofen. If we don't get food in the next few days, he's probably going to be forced out of the game. Klaus is on the verge of dropping out and came to the shore again in the morning. The puddle I made yesterday is frozen again. When you hit the ice, a big crack appeared. This girl's been eating soy sauce all day. Urick cut off the fish. Eat half a piece of fish a day. Ulrich can still eat fish now. This is the way it's going. The odds are very good that Urick will be the champion. Klaus is desperate to stay. He decided to collect firewood. The temperature will drop to 15 degrees below zero tonight. While collecting wood, I accidentally twisted my foot again. Bad luck opening the fucking door and getting home. Time came to day 38. Klaus got up early. Found that it snowed again last night. Klaus' foot is still hurting. He was wary of being dropped. Light a fire and go crazy here. Pray for a speedy recovery. Sitting here with a glass of water dreaming. His own children appear behind him. Trying to win a championship in your condition. Unless the show goes out of business. The ice is all over Urick. It looks really cold. The snow on the lake is very thick. Urick kept thinking about catching fish. He's the only one who's still doing something. The raft caught a lot of fish for him. He dismantled the raft. Get the tarp out and use it. I'm just gonna stand here and miss my family. I wonder if Lao Wang has taken good care of his wife. I feel sad and want to cry right now. Hey, don't cry. Just you and Klaus crying 9 times a day. Look at her, Annie. A girl has never cried. I took the tarp back after I cried, and has been hiding in the shelter since she got up. This girl ever since she set up the shelter. There's hardly any activity. I haven't had a bath since winter, and now she's a slob. Annie came to the shore. Test the ice with the rock. I hit a few rocks in a row and I'm fine. Looks like we're ready for ice fishing. But then she was back in the shelter. He was playing with a rock. Not so with Klaus. I can't believe he's not frozen yet. Is this high guy in a different world? He tied the wood with a rope. I want to fish here. The ice shadows on the shore harbor all kinds of dangers. You could actually die here if you're not careful. It took a lot of effort to pull the rope across the bank. It should be much better to catch fish this way. He succeeded in setting the net. There's a fire outside Urick's shelter. He was going to put the tarp over the fire to keep out the rain. I don't understand this scene. What's the fire doing covering it outside the shelter? If you have to camp out in front of the shelter, I got nothing to say. Okay, play all day. It was getting dark before I remembered to cut the wood. Time came to day 39. Urick was shooting through the air again this morning with a bow and arrow. Take the bow and arrow out for a spin every day. Pretending to hunt hard. Saw animal footprints on the ground. He cooked some fish soup yesterday and fell on the wood on the shore. Sure enough, the foxes are here today. Urick followed the trail. The drag of the fox's tail was evident in the snow, and I peed in here. After a long search, no fox was seen. I knew this high guy wasn't out hunting. In the evening, pour a little fish soup on the wood. A lot of time went by. 2 days. The water hasn't frozen on Klaus' side yet. The net he set up 2 days ago is still there. I also saw 2 ducks on the water. When he went over to check the nets, found a duck struggling. Klaus quickly pulled the net, but the rope is frozen in the ice. He picked up his stick and cracked the ice. Slowly pull the net back. Sure enough, they caught 2 ducks. Klaus killed the duck with his mouth. Today's harvest is bigger than 10 fish. Is this high guy gonna make a comeback with these 2 ducks? Fish not caught, but I got 2 wild ducks. That's a lot of luck. These 2 ducks are quite big, hungry for so many days. Send 2 fat ducks. That would be a good meal. Klaus immediately lit a fire. 2 ducks are hanging in front of the shelter, waiting to be slaughtered. Annie ate the last base yesterday. Now she has no food. If you want to eat fish again, that can only be done by ice fishing. And try to walk out slowly. Use a drill to drill a hole in the ice. Even though it's only 5 centimeters. But in Finland, it's already thick enough for ice fishing. And decided to try ice fishing for food. She took a small pole and prepared to go fishing. It's very close to the shore. There's not a meter of water. Looks like a waste of time. Klaus is already handling the ducks. I'm gonna have a big meal today. After Klaus whacks the duck, there's a lot of meat left. A duck weighs about 2 pounds. Enough for him to fight Urick. Chop the duck with an axe. Duck head and duck wingtips do not. The rest of the offal is edible. The ducks are cleaned by the lake. Even if it's snowing now, Klaus is going to have these ducks. Urick is having lunch. Eat only half a grilled fish a day. At least a dozen days. Now Urick has plenty to eat and drink. If you don't get crazy and miss your family, you might win the championship. Urick finished eating and went out again with his bow and arrow. Annie's the one who's hurting the most right now. Lie on the ice for hours. No fish were caught. Finally, she gave up ice fishing. On the shore, I saw a large wet area nearby. People who don't know would think she peed. Klaus is the best guy today. He set up a large barbecue grill. I've always heard that Beijing roast duck is delicious. So he also tried to make roast duck to eat. It's nice to have roast duck. It would be bad if the duck got burnt. Klaus looked at the carbonized roast duck before him. I still smell good after I hang up the carbon ash. This meal today. It's the best, most delicious meal he's had since he's been here. This duck is very big. Klaus will eat it all in one meal. Urick eats grilled fish every day. He sorted out some fish oil. It looks fat and appetizing. Someone else is already eating. Annie is still hungry. Klaus is already full. That leaves 1 duck rack. If you don't have to stew, you can give Annie a taste. The time came to day 42. At 2 o'clock in the morning, Urick woke up cold. He got up and made a fire to warm himself. But that's not enough. Have started doing exercise to keep warm. You can imagine how cold it is at night in the Arctic Circle. When Klaus got up, fire up your ass. Urick's got a roasted ass too. Maybe it's the cold weather. It froze the valve. He came to the shore to start ice fishing. But then the show crew showed up again. What the hell are they doing? The contestants were given weight records. It means they're going to face even greater risks. And that Urick is thin now. Reluctantly, he could go on. It also prompted Klaus to eat more. And he left. I don't know what the hell they're doing, you know? Urick was frightened and quickly ate the fish. I was afraid I'd be forced to withdraw because of my weight. Annie's starting to doubt life. It's so cold now. I can't believe someone's still holding on. The temperature is colder tonight than last night. Ice crystals are growing all over the shelter. Time came to day 43. Annie spent the morning on the ice fishing. It's a pity it was another day without a harvest. All this girl does is fish. Basically no other hunting skills. So I had to starve for as long as I could. Time came to day 44. Klaus wakes up in the morning to make fun of it. There's a rat in his shelter. This is a mouse pooping in a cup. Urick woke up feeling bad. I haven't been sleeping well lately. Now he's always wondering when he can go home. All the players began to have doubts. Because I've been here too long. Everyone was desperate to get home. But there's something holding on. The show crew showed up again. What are these high people up to? More appearances than players. Walking around to see the players. I always felt like the show was hiding something from everyone. You know? It's a weird show this season anyway. It turns out Annie's pulling out of the competition. He came here and caught a lot of fish. Another shelter was built. Built a raft to go fishing. It'll last 44 days. She felt satisfied. All I'm looking forward to is going home and having sex. This girl's doing great up front, but the back keeps lying flat. It's not that interesting, is it? Never caught a fish. Instead of starving here, might as well go home and eat fried chicken with hormones. After Annie's withdrawal, we're left with Klaus and Urick. Klaus stood on the rock and went crazy. Looks like he had a lot of that roast duck yesterday. Urick cuts wood every day to keep warm. Time came to day 45. Klaus and Urick are the only 2 left. Urick has plenty of fish left. Klaus also has a duck. As long as they keep getting food, then you might be able to hang in there and win. Urick pulled in the net on the ice, and he caught a fish. That's really good luck. The odds are very good that Urick will be the champion. He continued to drag the net. Another fish is pulled up. This magnificent wealth. Urick continued to drag the net. Fish were hauled up one by one. 3 fish were harvested today. Urick couldn't be happier. These fish will keep him going for another week. Klaus wants to try ice fishing, too, but the ice on his side is very thin. Doesn't look like it's for ice fishing. Finally chose to give up. Time came to day 46. Klaus eats leftover duck innards at the shelter, and Urick eats grilled fish in the shelter. That's still half a fish a day, even though everyone still eats meat. But the state is different. Time came to day 47. It's a different scene every day. The snow here is getting thicker day by day. It looked white all around. The weather is very calm today. No wind, no sun. It was eerily quiet. Urick lit a fire outside to keep warm. Saw a squirrel in the tree. Pick up a bow and arrow and go hunting. The squirrel was up there waiting for him. Urick picks up the bow and shoots. Sure enough, I shot the squirrel, but the squirrel is still hanging in the tree. It had to struggle to fall off. Dangly more than 40 days. I made my first hunt today. 3 fish were harvested yesterday. I hunted squirrels again today. The championship has been clear this season, unless there's a twist on the show. Otherwise, it couldn't have been Klaus. This season, I'm sure of it. Either Urick is the champion, either Klaus is the champion. If you think I'm right. Eating grilled fish for dozens of days. I can finally have a roast today. Urick is handling squirrel meat with great care. Not a lot of meat though, but I'm sure it'll be a good meal. Klaus went fishing on the ice, but it didn't work. When Urick's done with the squirrel, skewer the meat on a stick. The barbecue I've been looking forward to for decades. Today it finally happens. Although always eat meat, but he's still as thin as a monkey. He was also very worried about being dismissed because of his weight. Winter darkens very quickly in the Arctic Circle. Klaus didn't get anything done today. Urick began to enjoy his dinner. The squirrel is beautifully roasted. I can't help but scream when I eat it. It looks really good. The squirrel is not very big, but it's enough to get him hooked once. The time came to the 48th day. Klaus went out in the morning with his backpack. I don't know what he's going to do. Haven't seen the sun for days. What the hell is this high guy doing? Sitting outside looking at the view means several things. Are you going camping with your stuff? Walking around without a meal? Accidentally throw yourself on the street? Bad luck for this high guy. Urick also went out with a bow and arrow. I can't walk when I hit the sun. Decided to sunbathe here. As soon as I sit down, I miss my family. Time came to day 49. The show crew showed up again. The weird show has a bunch of weird contestants. Check on the players every 3 days. This has never been done before. The show crew is so abnormal. I guess there's something fishy going on. Show crew to tell them. Says they've lost 15% of their body weight. Plus it's getting colder now. Very worried about their safety. Thought it was dangerous for them to walk up and down the snow every day. Finally, the contestant was directly persuaded to quit. Urick heard being told to leave. Just hold your head and cry. Besides him, Klaus was also asked to resign. Oh my god. What the hell is this show up to? It's the finals. No winner this season. Klaus said it was very strange. Why is that? He could not accept the result. Urick also said it was strange. He couldn't understand why the show was doing this. To dismiss both players at the same time. So who's the real key? The show crew to comfort them. We also brought in their families. It means the show is broke this time, but still let them enjoy the end of the championship. I told you it was a freak show. It was being broke that told them not to hang on. I'll leave aside the bonus for now, but this is an unprecedented end. The show promised them. There's no prize money, but it gives them a name. It's a double winner of the Danish version of the 8th season. At last Urick and Klaus meet. It seems they were quite happy with the result. Well, I'm kind of confused anyway. That's the end of the season. This is ridiculous.